Thank you. It's nice to see you again this year. I'm very proud to be a witness to the excellence of Taiwan's students and their teachers yet again. I've been coming to this Young Diplomats contest for a few years now, along with many of my fellow judges. And I want to tell you that even though at the end, we don't really want to make long speeches and you don't want to listen to long speeches, but we are the ones who know what it takes to win or lose the contest. Every year, we have the same conversation among ourselves and we discuss the same points. So, however boring this is, you should listen because it could help you, it could make a difference in your participation next year, okay? So, as Professor Lee mentioned, the first thing we look at is whether or not you're on the topic. If you're not on the topic, we automatically eliminate you. No, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how good your English is, you're gone. So you've got to stick to the topic, you've got to make sure about that. The second thing, developing what Professor Lee said about doing research. You want a unique point of view in your speech. We heard dozens of people talking about how kind and friendly Taiwan people are. And in my experience here, that's absolutely true. Taiwan people are very kind and very friendly. But it doesn't really represent Taiwan sufficiently, I think, to the world. Remember, when you leave here with your performance, your winning speech, your winning performance, you're going to have an audience that's not Taiwan people. You're going to be speaking to the world. You are young diplomats representing Taiwan to the world. So you need to talk about either some concrete example of Taiwan's open-mindedness and friendliness, such as your incredibly good health insurance program. Which brings me to another point. In your research, you need to find out something about the rest of the world in addition to Taiwan. If you go to America and talk about how great Taiwan is, you should know something about what's happening in America right now. For example, many debates about health insurance. Americans are a little bit more backward than Taiwan people are when it comes to health insurance. They don't have the kind of vision you have right now. You can mention that, okay? You can mention some things that Taiwan does very well and make a comparison to what's happening in the rest of the world. In addition, right now, you know, the U.S. is in the middle of an election frenzy. You can talk about that. You can talk about disaster relief. They've also experienced a big storm on the East Coast. So be aware of the world. Be aware that Taiwan connects to the rest of the world in very significant ways. That's what you need to bring across in your performance. Next thing I want to mention is just some technical details about your performance itself. Don't use outlines ABC. It sounds fake. Okay, try to go for a conversational style as much as possible. I heard some students saying ABC or 1, 2, 3. It just sounds a little bit rigid. Don't use Chinese words without translation for the same reason I just mentioned, that your audience eventually is not going to be Chinese people. It's going to be people who speak no Chinese and don't know where Taiwan is. So you've got to make these things clear to them. You've got to educate them. You need to smile. As Professor Lee said, it has to be part of a kind of an organic presentation, not robotic. You can't start smiling as soon as the lights go on. Okay, you've got to keep that smile moving. And the last thing is the weird arm movement. You have to remember that you're not directing airplanes onto the runway, okay? You can't do this weird arm movement thing that everybody seems to do. Either no arm movements at all, or something that makes, that proceeds naturally from the content of your speech, okay? Let somebody else watch you. If you look like a robot, or you look like an air traffic controller, stop it, okay? Do something else. And then finally, you know, this is competitive. There's a lot of big prizes at stake today. But I want to remind you, life is practice. Every day is a practice, okay? It doesn't matter what the outcome is on a day-to-day basis. You've just got to keep doing it. You've got to enter context. You've got to keep practicing your English. And whether or not you get to your final destination, whether or not you win, doesn't matter as much as the attempt. Putting yourself out there, showing your courage, getting up there, doing it again and again, even if you fail, that's a test of your true nature, I think. So thank you very much, and good luck to everybody here.
好，谢谢高玛莉教授的分享。